This spiritually awakening journey can be a really interesting one at times, especially since we get to interact with people who aren't necessarily spiritually awakened. So there's quite a lot of perspectives that people share. No matter where you are in your awakening journey, there's friends and family who have their own opinions of who we are and how we are being. We may have friends and family that want us to be the way we were before, and they're not really appreciating the radical shifts and changes that we are experiencing, because we now see life from a very different perspective. When you're spiritually awakened, you do not see life in the way, that's Milo back there, by the way, you do not see life in the way that other people do. You may have friends and family who are very judgmental about the decisions that you're making, because you've become a lot freer about who you are and how you're being in the world, and you don't feel like you want to adhere to the rigidity that other norms that other people are experiencing. And you do weird things like laugh when your wallet gets stolen, like Rachel was sharing the other day. I even had somebody in our awakening community who went through a holdup, I think it was, or a carjacking or something, and she thought it was fascinating to be a part of it. It's just weird stuff like that. When you're awakened as fuck, it's stuff like that happens, and you see life for what it is why it seems so hilarious when things happen and other people would consider to be devastating, you know. I felt that way at the end of my second marriage. It felt like this shift into bliss, and my second marriage was amazing. It was wonderful. And yet, when it came to an end, it felt like a completion of one experience and the beginning of another. And it didn't feel like anything to be unhappy about. And I was able to really honor my second husband with a lot of love and a lot of appreciation and a lot of just tremendous appreciation and gratitude because of how I saw life, you know. So we do crazy shit like that, you know, and we experience life in a very, very different way, which can at times bring on a lot of not so great opinions. And some of you are like me, because I've spoken to some of you who are like me, where you are hosting events, spiritually awakened events, or you're hosting a YouTube channel or whatever, and you're talking about your stuff. And everybody that shows up has an opinion about what you just shared. You know, some people in our spiritually awakening communities don't think you're quote unquote enlightened enough. And they have their own perspective on what it means to be awakened. And they look at you and go, she's not awakened enough, or, you know what, all these other things that people share. So no matter where we are in life, somebody's going to have an opinion about what we're doing and how we're being. And this video was sparked by a one-on-one conversation I was having with someone on that topic. And I said, you know, no matter what perspectives are shared, no matter how much judgment you feel, because some of you are doing radical things in your life because of your spiritual awakening, radical like, you know, quitting your job and choosing to do what you love to do. And your friends and family are like, what the hell, you know? And you just meet a lot of judgment. Now, everything that is happening in our experience actually has no meaning at all. No meaning other than the meaning that we choose to give it, right? And what I was sharing with the person that I was talking with is, how about we explore different meanings other than I feel like I'm being judged, or I feel like I'm not being accepted, or whatever, which may be true, but even that has no meaning really. It's just a life experience being explored, you know. So I shared with them, what if we just explore 4 different ways to look at Milo's gonna meditate. What if we explore 4 different ways to experience what would normally be perceived as lack of acceptance or judgment from another, you know? And so I want to share those with you in this video. Maybe the person who you feel judged by is simply expressing who they are and where they are in their own life's journey, and what they're expressing, even though it's directed at you, has nothing to do with you. And you can feel confident that it doesn't have anything to do with you, and they're just being in their own limiting beliefs or limiting perspectives on things. He's gonna be playing with that blanket there. Let me see here. Got him to calm down. So you can look at what you're hearing from them, or what they're expressing, and go, they're expressing where they are, and they're expressing their own limited beliefs or their own limiting beliefs, and it has nothing to do with me, you know? So what you may be experiencing is an expression of where they're at and how they see the world, and what's coming out of their mouths may be saying much more about who they are, how they are, than it has anything to do with you. So that's one perspective to explore. Secondly, maybe the experience of judgment and feeling like you're being judged or you're being not accepted. Maybe that is just an opportunity for you to transcend that experience, to feel judgment from another and not have it affect you, and move right back into your place of bliss, and move right back into your place of joy, and just observe with no attachment to what is happening. And maybe it's presenting itself for you to have an opportunity to feel it, feel the judgment, or what you perceive as judgment from another, and just transcend it. Just move past it, observe it, see it for what it is, and allow it to have no impact whatsoever on who you are and how you are being. And perhaps life is offering you an opportunity to experience transcendence and to go, oh wow, you know, in the past I would have been so triggered by that, and now nothing. I feel fine. They're just expressing themselves or whatever. So maybe that may be the opportunity that's being presented to you. The third exploration is maybe what I'm feeling as judgment from another is really a reflection of the fear of being judged that's within me. And maybe it's presenting itself for me to see what's happening within me, for me to face the fear of not being accepted, or the fear of being judged, or the fear of being considered not acceptable, or whatever it is. Maybe this is happening for me to see something within myself that I haven't seen before, and perhaps go within and go, do I have that within me? Because usually life is a reflection, right? What part of me is feeling this as judgment? Because people can say things that can be perceived as judgment, and you feel the sting of the judgment or the sting of the lack of acceptance, or what you perceive to be judgment or lack of acceptance. And you can have the exact same thing be said and be completely unaffected by it. But when we're triggered, it usually means there's something within us that needs to be seen. And life is presenting this person that you perceive as judgmental, a family member, a friend, a significant other, a spouse, a child, or whatever. They may be bringing up your shit, you know, for you to see it and for you to go, if I'm being triggered by this, there's something within me that's true about that. And what can I look at that I haven't looked at before in order to experience it? So that's number 3. And number 4 actually took from the, what is it called? A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles. And I wrote it down because I couldn't remember it, but maybe I was meant to see that reflection that I talked about earlier so that I can transcend it and move back into knowing, and these are the words from Course in Miracles, When you feel the need arise to be defensive about anything, know that you have identified yourself with an illusion. Clearly, Mila wants to be in the video today. But I'll repeat that. When you feel the need arise to be defensive about anything, know that you have identified yourself with an illusion. I've never actually read The Course in Miracles, but I heard that statement from someone who did, and I was like, boy, that's a call to awakening, a call to awakening. You have identified yourself with an illusion. So that's really all I wanted to offer and share today. Just more to explore, more to be with when we feel or when we label an experience as being judged or being considered less than or not being accepted. Hopefully that helps someone out there today. And I'll see you in whatever I create next. Bye.